Welcome to Java programming. In this session, we'll be discussing about how to design a graphical user interface for Java application using Java Swing API services. In Java, we have a package called Swing, which is the extension of a Java package, and it is a framework which provides powerful features for creating a graphical user interface design. So by using this Java Swing, we can create a frame window and we can include text boxes, buttons, and various input interactive elements. So it provides a set of classes such as J button, J text field, J text area, radio button, and all. So by using this, we can design a graphical user interface design for Java application. For example, we can design a form, registration form for collecting information about employee details. For example, we can design a login form for user authentication. We can create any type of user interface design, such as calendar, calculator, something like that. So in this session, I'll be demonstrating how to design a simple frame window, simple graphical user interface design to calculate a symbol to design a simple calculator for performing addition operation. So this is a outcome we are going to design. So this is a design we are going to demonstrate in this session. For example, if you see in this window, here we have a input box and button. We can collect data in this input box, and we can collect another data from in this text box. So when we click the button, I want to read the data from the first text box and the second text box, and I want to perform simple addition, and I want to display the result in another place. So let's see how we can design a simple graphical user interface to perform this mathematical operation. So first create a project. Let's add a new Java class. So include main method. So now we have a Java class, and now inside first we need to use the Java Swing package. So for that you have to import java x.swing dot star. So this package provides the J button, J frame, those classes. Similarly, we need to import one more package called java.awt.star. And when we click the button, we want to perform event handling. So in order to perform event handling, we need an event package also, which is comes under java.awt.event.star. So these three packages are actually mandatory for performing designing and making event handling also. First, we need to start with creating a frame window. So first we'll start with creating a frame window like this. So we can give a title here within in the constructor JFrame constructor. For example, calculator is the title for the our design. After creating a frame window, we need to set the size of the frame window. So we can give the width and height of the frame window. For example, 500 width, 400 height. Then, so after setting the size, we can display the frame window by using set visible true. Then in frame window, we'll be getting a close button. So when we click the close button, we want to close the frame window. So in order to do that, we need to write one event handling mechanism. Set default close operation inside jframe dot exit on close. So when we click the close button, we need to exit. So that is how this constant is working. This constant define when we click the close button, it will close the window. So now we have a frame window and we can execute this program and we can see the frame window. So now the frame window is appear like this. So this is a simple window we have created. Inside this window, I want to create this number 1, number 2 and text box and button, and I want to display the result. So now let's see how to do that. So first we need to display one label number 1. So if you want to display any text data, we need to create a J label L1 equal to new J label. So inside we can write number 1 like this. Then we have to position in the screen inside this frame. I want to position the label here. So for that we can call L1 dot set bounds function. We can call in the set bounds function. First we need to give x axis and y, and then we have to give y axis. So here you can see the function is this one, int x axis, y axis, then width and height of the label. So we can give a x axis, for example x axis 150 and y axis, otherwise we can give both 100 and the width we can give 100 and height we can give 25. So after creating this set bounds, we can display this label in the frame window by using add method. So add function is used for displaying the label in the window. So now label is ready. Now here the label created is coming here. We have set L1 dot set bounds 100 comma 100. So 100 comma 100 is, it's supposed to come here, right? So it is not coming, right? Because the default layout manager of frame window is border layout. So we have to remove the border layout. For that, before creating any components, we have to set the layout of frame to null. So when we set as null, now the default layout will be removed and the components will be placed according to the set bounds method. So now again we can see the output. Now it's coming in the x-axis 100, y-axis 100. So after this label we can place one text box the same way. So to create a text box we have to use J text field class. So we have to create one object for text field t1 equal to new J text field. So inside we can give a width in terms of number of characters. For example, 100 we can give, 10 we can give, 20 we can give. So let's try with 10. Then same way we have to position this text box also by using set bounds. So in set bounds, so we have to correctly position. This is x-axis and x-axis 100 and y-axis 100. I want to place a text box after the label. So I need to change the x-axis value. Y-axis is same. So y-axis is 100 but x-axis I need to change. How to change? This 100 and this label width is 100, right? So this 100 plus this 100, so you'll get 200. So we can give 201 comma y-axis is same 100 only. Then width of the text box we can give 100 and height of the text box we can give 25. Then we can add this text box in the frame window by calling add function. So now we are getting the label and text box. So when we run, sometimes it will not be displayed. Just you resize the window, you can see the text box. Number one, text is displayed, and then text box. Here we can type some data. For example, 100 and 1000 I am typing, right? So this way we can create a text box. Now the same way I want to create a one more label and one more text box. That is very simple. Just we can copy this code and just we have to change the variable names. This is L2 is L2 and here the text we need to display is number 2 and L2 dot set bounds. Now this label number 2 label I want to bring down. Number 2 label I want to bring uh, below the number 1, right? So the y-axis, the x-axis is same and y-axis we need to increase. So y-axis how to increase? The height of the label is 25, so we can add 100 plus 25. So beyond that we can set some value. So y-axis we can assume 150, right? So this is actually number 2 and next the label 2, right? So label 2 we are adding using frame dot add. The next thing is we have to create text box 2. The text box 2 we can create using jtext field. Then using set bounds method we can able to position. So text box should come below the this text box, right? So x-axis 201, y-axis we need to change to 150. Remaining the width and height is same one, right? There is no need to change. Then this variable we need to change t2. This is t2. Now we can see the output. Now we are getting number 1 text box, number 2 text box. The next we need to create one button here just below the text box. So we'll do that. We can create one button. To create a button we have to use j button btn equal to new j button. Inside button we can display add some text. Now this button I want to position. So using set bounds function we can position, and this button should come below the text box, right? So the it should be similar to the x-axis, the text box x-axis. The x-axis should be similar to the text box x-axis 201, and the y-axis from 150 we need to bring it down. So we can add 150 plus 25, another one more 25 we can increment, like we can make it as 200. So not 200, yes 200. 150 plus 25, then extra 25 for gap, some gap we can use. Then width and height we can use same 100 comma 25. So it look like the button also similar to the text box width and height. Then we can add this button in the frame. Add btn. So now the button is added. Now the design look like this: text box, button we can click. Now when we click this button, I want to take the data from first text box and second text box. Then I want to perform addition. Then finally the result I want to display in this place. So how to display the result? So to display a result, we can use a label component, JLabel component, to display the result over here. So we can create one empty label just below the button. Then in that button we can display the result. So we can create a JLabel for showing the result equal to result label, right? Result label, new JLabel. Inside we have to make it empty. So empty means just give a gap this much. Now we have to position this result label using set bounds. The set bounds function, we need to decide the x-axis and y-axis. So I want the result should be displayed just below the button. So button x-axis 201. So we can use that same 201 x-axis, and we have to change the y-axis to 250, and width and height we can increase as we can keep it as 100 comma 225. For displaying a result we can give more width, 150 we can give. And if you want to display if you want to display the result in a blue color, we can set a color also using set foreground color dot blue. And if you want to change the font also, you can use set font, new font. For example, we can use Arial font dot bold, and font size we can give 25. So just to know about, we can set. So from here we can understand, we can set the color of the text, we can change the font also by using these two methods. These two methods are also applicable for text boxes and button also. So now see the output here, you can see, right? So when you see in the design, this is a empty label, right? So nothing will be visible now. The result, we after calculating the addition of two numbers, we are going to display the result here. Okay, so when we are displaying a result, that will be displayed here. So till that time, but when you run the program, nothing will be visible since it is a empty label. So now we can see how to do the even handling. When we click this button, when we click the button, I want to add these two numbers. For example, here I'm going to put 100, here I'm going to put another 100. So I want to add these two numbers, and finally result 200 I want to display sum equal to 200 in this empty label. So for that we need to go for even handling mechanism for button. So the button component generates action event. So we need to use action listener as a event handling mechanism. So we use btn dot add action listener. Inside we have to create one implementation class object by using a anonymous inner class. This is an anonymous inner class, new action listener, within bracket, one bracket. Then immediately you have to create one class without any name. This is called anonymous inner class, new action listener bracket. Immediately we are creating one class by using this curly braces. So go inside the curly braces, press enter. Now you'll get a class body. Inside class body we have to override one method called action performed. We have to implement one method called action performed, public void action performed. In this method, there is an argument called action event. When we click the button, action event will be generated. So whenever you click the button, since we have linked this add action listener to button, whenever you click the button, the this this function will be called. Action performed function will be automatically called. So here we can do the addition operation and we can show the result. So in order to do the addition operation, first we need to read the value of the first text box 100, second text box 100, and we have to perform addition. So the text box always gives a string data. So we need to convert as an integer before adding it, right? So first we need to read the data from the first text box. So first text box object name we need to remember. So how to read the data from text box? First we need to understand, first we need to know the object name T1. So if you know the object, first text box object T1, we can able to use, there is a function called get text. Using get text, we can able to get the data from the text box. So we need to convert as an integer also, right? So first we need to create one variable called n1, then use a function called integer dot parse int. Inside this function, we can pass the value. So this function is used for to convert the string to integer format. So t1 dot get text. The same way you can create another variable n2 integer dot parse int t2 dot get text. Now we can perform addition logic. So int sum equal to n1 plus n2. Now this sum I want to display in the empty label j label. So j label is an object called result, right? So we have to use result dot set text function. We have to use set text. Inside we can give sum equal to sum colon. We can display the sum value. So now when we click the button, it will read the value of the first text box. When we click the button, it will read the data from first text box and it will convert as an integer. It will store in n1. Then when we read the same way, it will read the data from second text box, convert as an integer, and it will store in n2. Then it will perform addition. Then the result I am going to display in the empty label. So that's all about how to design a calculator. So now we can see the output. We'll execute the program. We can test the program. Now see, when we give 100 and here also 100, when we click the add button, we are calculating the addition of two number and we are displaying the result over here. So like this, we can design a graphical user interface for a Java application to perform any type of logic or any type of operations.